nobody came. Oh, I lied. People came. Alright, now I'm actually coming. I'm away. Rocky. Oh my god, bro.
Alright, what's up team? So the first thing we're going to look at settings. We're going to go to settings, and I'm not going to go into depth with all this, but we're going to go right to video, and I want to talk about field of view. This needs to be at 110. The default setting I think is 70, and it should not be. It is just absolutely horrible trying to play on this. You can't see anything, especially in Apex where the movement is so fast. People are actually flying across your screen. So you need to have this at 110 so you can see what's going on, you can react to it, and just makes the game experience so much better. And have the sprint view shake to minimal, so like when you're running you can actually see a little bit better. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is the basics of looting and how crucial it is to be efficient at looting. So after you finish a fight, the only thing you should go into a box for realistically is for like batteries right here, shield cells, and sometimes health, and of course ammo. Well, not sniper ammo, but you get the idea. Like, it needs to be the essentials that you need for a fight. You don't need to spend all the time in every single box trying to find every little attachment that'll upgrade your weapon. Now, having an extended mag is probably the only other attachment you should look for, or maybe a sight, but other than that, it should be shields, ammo, and sometimes health. That is it. It's more efficient when you just do it that way, and allows you to get back into a fight, and if someone decides they're going to third party you or push you when you're looting, it keeps you less vulnerable because you're already out of the box and you have everything you need to fight back. Alright team, so now we're going to talk about inventory management. So let's go right in here into my inventory. So the first thing that I always tell people is the top row should be filled with ammo. Now depending on how much you want for each gun, it's totally preference, but for me, I like having more ammo in my primary gun than my secondary gun. Only because I'm shooting this more than anything, because this has a little more range to it, and this is more of like my finisher, so I don't need a ton of this ammo. But having the top row filled is incredibly crucial. It just helps you, if you have to fight more than one fight it without being able to loot, having the ammo to do that is incredibly important. Alright, so the next thing is shields, health, and throwables. Now, I always recommend having at least 2 or 3 throwables in your inventory. It's just they're incredible tools. I'll go into a later video on why they are, but having them and just being able to use them is incredibly crucial. So make sure you at least have 1. I like to have 3 or 2, but at least have 1. Trust me, it'll save the day. Now, you always want to have more shields than you do health because you're going to be using that a lot more, and it's the first thing that people shoot. So you need to be able to heal that up and continue in a fight. So you need to have more of this because you're going to use more of this than you will your health. I've seen people who have like 6 medkits in your inventory, and that is just not necessary. Like having even like 20 cells and 2 medkits is perfect because you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna use shields. You're gonna have to heal your shields a lot more than you will your health. All right. Alright guys, so the next thing we're going to talk about is basic movement. Basic movement Apex isn't like, anything fancy, but a lot of people still don't know it. So the way to kind of move around the map is to not just keep sprinting and everything like that. You need to learn to slide, jump. So basically to do that, you hold down your crouch, you slide, and jump. Now you don't want to like continue the slide for too long because then if you try to jump, you won't really get that much momentum. So you want to just kind of slide for like a second and then jump. And it just allows you to gain a little more speed and help you move around the map a little bit easier. And then when you're in a fight, if you're trying to push somebody, having the ability to do that helps you get to that person a lot quicker so they don't have a chance to, heal themselves. Alright, so the next thing, kind of like with basic movement that we have here, is in Apex you can virtually climb anything. Like you can honestly experiment and try to climb, a building, and it's possible sometimes. Like you just kind of have experiment. I've learned new ways of climbing every single day that I try, but basically Apex is pretty cool to where it allows you to be able to just basically climb anything that you want. Now, a little trick is, like in most games, you don't really have to look up, but when you in Apex, if you want to climb something a little bit taller, you just need to look straight up in the air and then climb up as soon as you reach the peak, and then you look forward, and it allows you to climb something a lot higher. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is kind of like basic combat techniques in Apex that will help you kind of improve and help you win a little more gunfights. And like I said, I'll go into another video, a more in-depth version of doing this, but I just want to talk about a few things that'll just kind of help everybody out. So the first thing is using cover and not poking out or pushing out too far and allowing, you know, your opponent to shoot you more than you're allowed to shoot them. So basically what that means is, if I'm right here, I'm behind cover and I'm about to shoot this dummy, you shouldn't poke all the way out and try shooting him from this far away. This is leaving you too exposed and allowing them to shoot you back and deal a lot more damage to you. So basically, you know, to win a fight, you deal more damage to your opponent than they do to you. That's how you win. So you want to eliminate as much damage they do to you as possible. All right, the next thing is you want to maintain high ground. And I know that sounds basic again, but you know, some people they'll run all the way up here and you're leaving yourself exposed. So like you can do damage to them, but you're also going to get a lot of damage back. So if you hang back just a little bit, you're less exposed because you have a better angle on them than they do you. They can really only see like your head or like your top of your chest from like right here. And when you're shooting like this, sometimes if someone's shooting you from like another angle, I always have myself kind of like on the back side of like, you know, like a box or just any type of cover that I am if I'm on top of like a building. So if I'm getting shot from a different direction, I can easily just drop down and take cover from that instead of being right here, allowing them to shoot me, and I have to back all the way up again so they can do more damage to me, and you know, they can potentially push you or crack you or even kill you. Alright, so the next thing we're going to talk about is strafing. So strafing basically is, I'm sure you've heard the term before, it's just moving left to right or even crouching while you're doing that. Basically what it is, it's allowing you to be a harder target to hit so your opponent doesn't do as much damage to you while you're doing damage to them. So you're just going to move left to right, making yourself a harder target to hit while you're doing damage to them. Alright, so the next thing I want to talk about is kind of like where to land. Now, I'm not going to tell you like what location on the map you should land at, but basically kind of like in that location, the places that you should land are where gun spawns are, not bins. Because bins, there's a chance that you might get a gun, there's a chance that you don't. You want to land on where you know you've seen a gun spawn on the ground, like you physically see it. That's where you need to land because you get a higher chance of getting a weapon and being able to get into a fight if someone's in there. Now, you don't have a choice, then you can land on the bins, but you want to try your best to land on where gun spawns are. Alright, but just to kind of recap, for the settings part, just make sure you have it at 110. If you're looting, make sure you're efficient while looting, so you're only grabbing what you need, the most essential things you need, so it allows you to get back into the fight more. When you're in combat, try to do your best to take as less damage as possible, and using natural cover, peeking properly, using high ground, that's the best way to win a fight. And where to land, you need to land where gun spawns are. All right, it gives you a better chance of getting a weapon, and it allows you to get into a fight quicker. And if someone's landing right next to you, you can get that gun possibly faster than them and kill them before they even have a gun themselves. All right, thank you for watching my video. I hope everybody learned something. I know a lot of this stuff is basic, and I will do other videos more in depth on each of these topics. And anything you guys want me to cover, please leave a comment below. And anyway, hope you enjoy and have a good rest of your day, and fry.